is up, guys? Happy New Year. This is going to be your first video of the year from us. As usual, winter, time to do upgrades, time to fix things. You guys have seen some of that already, and we're going to continue that today with my 2020 Pro Xp. Whoa! So thank you guys for an awesome 23. We continue to grow, and not just YouTube, but we've been growing on Facebook, TikTok, a little bit on Instagram. Still haven't really figured that one out yet, but it kind of all works together. So the plan for 24 is to really step it up. Everything that we make, like as far as money, that has to do with YouTube, whether it's from YouTube ads, Facebook ads, G-Life UTV affiliate link, all that money goes back into this channel. So very shortly here, we're going to be getting a real camera for doing stuff like this, and kind of the outside of the shots while we're on rides. So that will give you guys a better product. And that's all thanks to you guys watching the videos. So we appreciate that. And yeah, it's not the little bit of money you get from YouTube. It doesn't go in the pockets. It doesn't even go in the machines. It just goes back into making better content. So with that being said, we really want to step it up in 24. We're at a little over 3,000 subscribers. It's a crazy goal, but my goal for the end of 24 is 10,000, which seems like a reach, but I don't know. I think we can do it. So if you're not subscribed and you want to see us hit 10K, you know, hit that little button. I mean, we have a lot of milestones to hit before we get to 10K, but everyone that subscribes, even though you're just one person, it all helps because it all adds up. So I think that's it for rambling about 24. Just thank you guys for watching and subscribing and liking. It means the world to me. So let's get to working on my machine. It's actually the oldest machine in our group. And you know, there's been some stuff on it that everyone's already upgraded and I haven't, so I've been kind of behind on some of this stuff, but I got one that is super important to me. Springs. I've already mentioned this. Got a dual rate spring setup that we're going to put on that machine right now. These are still the factory mainsprings, and that collapsed spring right there, even though it's not fully collapsed. That's an all things UTV tender spring, which at the time was a big help, but she's sagging now, and I'm sick of adjusting those, or trying to adjust them. They're a pain in the ass. That's some dog shit on my tire. That's always nice to see when you're going to do a project. So since we've done spring videos, I don't really think of it as a how-to video for this anymore, because this is more of a tag along with us for the experience, because we've seen that the different brands, they give you different directions. There's different size springs. So like those MTS ones were so big, you know, dude had to take his front ones in because we didn't have a good enough spring compressor to get those bad boys on. So there's a different experience with the different springs. The set I went with, I think, are shorter, so we shouldn't have that problem. But stuff like setting your ride height is all different with these different brands. The All Things UTV tender springs, it's just ride height, like inches. Ground to the bottom of your lower A-arm bolt. Ground to the bottom of that little tie-down point in the back. Then we did the MTS ones on Steph's and Dude's. It's axle angle. They don't talk about actual ride height. It's just you set it, and it's whatever angle your axle's at, that's how you set it. I went with the Schmidty's. It is like a novel they give you. So there's a lot more to the setup with these, and it doesn't mean it's harder. It's just a specific way that you're supposed to set it up to work as good as they're supposed to work. So before we actually tear anything apart, I'm going to take a measurement just the same way the All Things UTV tender springs and most people do. I'll take a measurement from the ground to the A-arm bolt and to that toe point. And I guess we can take axle angle too. So we have that data of how it sits right now. It is a little saggy, so we'll see where we're at so you guys know. But here's the new stuff. So Schmidty's racing suspension. You know, you look at all the big dogs out there. I did my research, and I went with them because of the reviews I saw. People absolutely love the stuff from these guys, and I know stuff like shock therapy, there's good and bad reviews, but I don't know. I just had a feeling about this brand, and this is what I went with. To be different. We will be taking a look at some shock therapy stuff. That's what Jesse got for his Pro R. So we will have some of that on the channel, and we will cover that because, like I said, each installation is a different experience. Some more frustrating than others. Most brands, I don't believe, just make their own spring. They have other companies make them, and then they sell them. But the companies that sell them put together the lengths and the spring rates and all that stuff. They put together the package of springs that you need on your machine for your type of riding, for the amount of weight and all that. They put that together, but it's a different company actually manufacturing the springs. So these are made by Swift. I don't know if this camera is going to focus. That's why earlier I said we need a new camera. But it says SRS Swift. I did a little bit of research on Swift, and it looks like they're big in the racing game, like circle track and stuff. But I didn't do a full dive on the company, but it seems like it's gonna be top-notch stuff. So I'm really excited for this. I've been wanting to do springs since I got the machine, and now it's finally happening. So these are the rear tenders. Front tenders. Here's one of the rear mains that is really big.
That's what she said.
And then this has to be a front main, and it is. This little bag. These are probably crossover rings. This stuff is impossible one-handed. Yep, crossover rings. Oh, so that's interesting. That is probably going to be cool. The engraving's cool, but I'm looking at this. It's a two-piece design, whereas the MTS one was one piece, and you had the hardware on one side. It wasn't a full split like this, which will be helpful. Oh, that's what I forgot to mention too, is that's a Sport, so this is Walker Evans, you know, and then the Pro XP that we've done springs on already, which is dudes, that was live valve. So there is a difference in doing those two as well. His were a little harder. And then finally, the instructions. So maybe I exaggerated on it being a novel, but it is detailed. I mean, there's a lot of detail. It's front and back. Hey, before you guys comment bitching at me about it, I understand that I should get the shocks checked for nitrogen. So over the winter here, I am going to work on checking, see if I can find a place that can do that. I'm sure they need a little bit of nitrogen, but they also need springs. So that we can take care of today. So I already took a tape measure, measured where we sit. Now, this is not level ground, but this is the best I could do. In the front, I was at 14.5. Rear was 15.25. So I don't remember where I'm supposed to be, but I don't think it's that. So we got this little guy. We're gonna throw these on the axles. This is how MTS does it. They don't care what that number is. It's the axle angle. So we're just gonna see for scientific purposes where we're at. So 11.9, 14.9. Do you remember what yours was supposed to be? I think
we were shooting for 14 degrees, I think.
Okay.
Plus or minus a degree.
So, according to Dude's instructions on the MTS ones, my rear is kind of where it's supposed to be. And, well, within tolerance. And the front is way too low. So, I don't know yet how the Schmittys do their adjustments, like whether it's a number or an angle, but we'll read the instructions and find out.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
So we just pulled the front shocks off, and we made a bit of an unfortunate discovery. I was going to show you guys. Here, I'll just show you. I hope it shows up, but my shock mount holes on the passenger side are really whopped out. So that's not great. But that'll have to be an issue addressed on a different day. Today we're just putting springs in. But that's probably going to be something we got to address. Because that looks rough. And you don't want that failing when you're on a trail. So not the coolest discovery ever. Alright guys, we got one shock in the front torn apart. So here's the little all things UTV tender springs, and I know I didn't have them fully collapsed, but you can hopefully see on the insides that they've been rubbing. Here's kind of a size difference. Here's factory, the Schmitty's, and then the Schmitty's tender spring, and then this is the all things UTV tender spring. So this will be the new setup going on the shock. And then the shock, not only is my frame kind of cooked with that mounting, we definitely need to get these filled, because I'm pretty sure that I shouldn't be able to do that. I mean, it is pretty easy to move, so I'm gonna have to get these filled. So first step, we're gonna undo these bolts here, or unthread them. I guess you don't undo them. Dude told me to say that.
Yeah. Are those stainless hardware?
Just tried to look. That just made me dizzy. I tried to look over my glasses and I'm wearing contacts.
Alright.
Yeah.
Nice.
So the hardware is stainless. We just checked. So when you do tighten these down, remember, don't tighten the shit out of them, because you'll just rip the threads out of the aluminum. But they're saying put it on loosely and run it up to kind of be even with the reservoir. I feel like I said that weird. Reservoir. So when I was showing you guys these originally, I was all excited about them being completely split. And if you saw our video doing Dudes, that's why, with that just split on one side, his were kind of a pain in the ass. Now what?
Springs in. Oh, you need new dividers too.
Yeah. So the next step is install front tender spring and your OEM divider. On this kit, they only give you the new rears. Unfortunately, I kind of need new fronts, but we're gonna put it back together like this anyways. And I don't know, maybe I'll address it at some point, but these are kind of cooked too, but I don't have new ones. And yeah, I'm not getting new ones before I install it, so we're gonna do it anyways. Dude, it can't be that.
Don't even fit.
Doesn't even fit over the bump stop.
Yeah, look how loose it is now.
Just on the bottom. It's tight at the top, loose at the bottom. So we got this stacked up. I just want to show you guys this. This is one thing I read about the Schmidty setup is the spring length. So when we did the MTS ones on dudes, his main spring stacked up like this was like that. That's his starting point. And I think that's what really made it a pain in the ass to get on there. So this setup, the full stack, is pretty close. So we'll have to use the spring compressor still, but we don't have to go far to get this collar back on. You know, like an inch or two. And we should be able to get this on. So this is one thing I read about that you know, helps sway me to go this way, because dudes was an absolute nightmare. And if you've seen it, he had to take it somewhere because we just could not get it. And we got comments saying to use a spring compressor like this, which we did, and this thing does work, but when it's so long, no matter where you grab it, by the time it compresses, the spring bows out, so now you're binding up on the body, and there's just nothing you can do. So this is a welcome sight, because the rears are always easy, the fronts are the pain in the ass. So we'll throw you back on the other camera, and we'll get this together. The MTS setup, when you put the crossover ring on, you set it the distance right away. With this setup, they give you the baseline, you install everything on the shock, get it all back together, you put it on the machine, you get your ride height set, and then you set the crossover. So, bit different. So we're just gonna compress the spring a bit and get the collar back on. And it's back together. Next up, we're gonna set the preload, the baseline preload. We're still gonna have to adjust based on how the ride height is. But to start off, we're gonna run this nut down to get the springs compressed to 19 1/4 from the bottom of this spring to the top of this spring. So to turn these, you know, they say use the spanner wrench, and this is also jacking up my clocking. But like dude's live valve, he has the one where you have to use a spanner wrench. But for the Walker Evans, you can take a punch and use it like a little handle, which is, it's nice. I like to put WD-40 on this stuff. It seems to move a little easier. That's just my preference. Close enough. Alright, so we got this one set to 19 1/4 from the top of this spring to the bottom of this spring. So for now, we'll set this one aside, and we're gonna
Clock it. You gotta clock it.
Oh yeah, we gotta clock it.
12 seconds later.
Okay, so now we got it clocked 180. So now we're gonna set this aside and work on the other one. It's gonna be the same process, so we'll send you to time lapse. Fronts back on for the most part. They're just kind of sitting there. We're gonna have to drop it down to finish doing the adjustment. So we're on to the rears now. We have this one taken apart. Like I said, we're trying to do less of how-to on this because we've covered it, but just kind of going over how each brand how their setups are. And I can tell you for sure, the Schmidty setup was a lot easier for the front than the MTS. That was, just went smoothly. So really happy with that. We didn't have to fight it at all. So here's the rears. Here's the outgoing setup, factory spring, all things UTV. The factory slider. You get a new slider with this one, new tender, new rear main. So we're gonna stack this one up on the rear shock here and start putting it back together. Fox Racing now.
Yep.
Yep. Look at that, dude. Look at that. So on the rears, we're looking for 28 inches for the stack height for our starting point, and then we're gonna move the crossover ring 4.5 inches away from the top of the divider. That's probably it. I can feel it. 28 inches. The little tiny fingers are coming in clutch.
Yeah, dude.
These things can't
How
handle.
hard is it? It's not that hard, dude.
Well, dude, I got sausage fingers.
You got plenty of room.
Not for sausage. Look at your dainty little hands.
Yeah.
And look at my hand. All right, we got one of the rear shocks all stacked up, crossover roughly sent. We're gonna put it back on the machine now, do the other one, and I'll throw you guys to time lapse for that, and then I'll catch back up with you when everything's on and we can set the machine down and start doing the final setup. So everything is back together, kinda. You know, shocks are on. This is definitely one of the easiest spring jobs we've done, for sure. I'd probably call it the easiest, actually. There's not that much left to do. But yeah, we're gonna drop it down, see where we're at with ride height. Still gotta connect the limit straps, but yeah, I'm happy with it so far. While it sits in the air, we'll see. So as I showed, where my shocks themselves need work, so I mean we're not really gonna know how it rides. I mean, it's gonna have new springs, so it should be better, and we should be able to get ride height back, but it's still probably gonna ride like shit because of the shocks needing to be recharged. So it's just gonna kind of be is what it is type of situation for right now till we figure that out, and then figure out the damage up there. So I guess that's what kind of sums up this project. It's awesome that I finally have springs. Bad news is there's a little frame damage, but you know, that's how it goes sometimes. It's a shame to see that on a machine that's so mint.
Yeah.
4 to 6 more days later.
Now that I've had a few days to think about the everything going on with my machine, whether it's needing the recharge in the shocks, the whopped out shock mount bolt in the front, the fact that the machine is completely torn apart, I decided to kind of stop this project. I did roll the machine back and forth a few times and kind of check the ride height, and it's going to need adjustment more than likely. We're sitting at 15 inches in the front, 16 inches in the rear, and axle angle 9.9, which is really low in the front, and then 15 in the rear, which is a little high. We have so much off on the machine right now, and the nitrogen, I'm pretty sure it's pretty bad. I did try to call the only place near us, but they're closed. We're in that weird week right now between Christmas and New Year's, so a lot of people close for that week, so it's gonna have to wait. So between that and the fact that this machine is going to lose, it's heading down to Far Off Road in 2 weeks to start working on the fender delete in the rear and the new doors. So we're just gonna wait until we have more of a finished machine as far as the total weight of what it's gonna weigh, because that matters on your suspension, and then of course the nitrogen in the shocks, that's gonna make you sag either way. So no sense in jacking the front way up, letting the rear down, then you add a bunch of weight, you add nitrogen, and then I'm probably readjusting. So we're just calling it. I'm sorry, I hate not having a complete video. It drives my OCD nuts, but it's just the move right now. There's no sense in wasting time dicking with it when everything's changing. So I'll show you what we're gonna do for the shock tower, the mount fix. So like I said, in a couple weeks, we're going to be taking my 2020 Pro XP down to Far Off Road in Indiana to lose. And we're going to be doing a fender delete and some custom doors. He's a fabricator, a welder, so we're also going to address that the whopped out shock mounts while we're there. I ended up getting this kit from Super ATV. It's kind of like a universal kit, and if I could ever get it open, I'll show you, but I think this will do the job. Box is winning. There we go. So all this box for this little sheet. So I got this sheet of steel here, and it's a gusset kit. I don't think it's specifically for the Pro XP. I think it's kind of universal. You can take these different square circles or just straight gussets out and weld them in where you need them. So I'm guessing it's going to be something like this one here that we'll have to weld to the frame. And by we, I mean Lou, because I don't weld. But it's just some 3/16 steel. It should be a hell of a lot stronger than factory. So this shouldn't be a problem again. So again, I'm sorry that it's not a complete video. Just the way it worked. I didn't expect for some of this stuff to happen, but it did. So we're just rolling with it. Of course, when it's done and we have the suspension tuned and I have it the shocks charged and we have it, you know, to the final weight. I'll show you guys. I'll give you guys the numbers as far as ride height, axle angle, and of course let you know how it feels. So again, Happy New Year. Thank you guys so much for watching, for liking, subscribing, what else? Commenting. If you guys aren't doing that stuff and you like what we do, please do it. It helps us. Helps us grow. Also, this should be one of the last videos on this stupid camera that won't focus. I know it's bad, and you know the project's done. We already shot the footage. I'm sorry. Getting a new camera in a few days here, so bear with us. So thanks again for doing all the YouTube stuff. Check out our G-Life UTV affiliate link in the description below. You can use code Haggard5 and save yourself some coin on side-by-side parts. Like if you're doing projects like we're doing all winter. If you're doing the same thing, want to save a little money, maybe all the sales are over now. Use our little code. It helps you out a little bit, and then it also helps us. So that's it. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace.
Go Google that shit. See what I'm talking about.